Okay, good afternoon to all and welcome to lecture number 6. So in this we'll study uh, about Laplace transform and then we will start the transfer function. So as I told you that particularly transform, yesterday we talked about the transform and transforms are nothing but the mathematical functions which maps the information from one domain to another domain. And the purpose of transform is that our life becomes easy with the transform signal. Some of the things which are not visible in original domain may be visible in the transform domain. Signal can be compressed. Okay, operations may be simple or easy. So then I talked about this one. How many transforms are there, then what are the appearances of the transforms. So all the transforms looks like same, only thing is that their kernel function is different. Means kernel function of Fourier transform is e raised to minus j omega t, whereas kernel function of Laplace transform is e raised to minus st. So like that way, kernel function of wavelet transform will be mother wavelet, which will be different. So every transform is having kernel function different. And then in continuous domain, okay, it will be integration, and in discrete domain it will be summation kind of things, and so on. So particularly this the Laplace transform is used in control system for representing, because you see in a control system, mathematical model of physical system, higher order physical system contains higher order differential terms like integral differential terms and so on. Now solving these higher order integral differential term in its original domain is difficult. Okay, so if you take the Laplace transform of that one, then this higher order integral differential terms or integral differential equation will be represented in simple algebraic equation. Now solving this simple algebraic equation is easy as compared to higher ordered integral differential equation. And then once you get the solution of this algebraic equation, which is in the form of Laplace transform, then you can take the inverse Laplace transform and then you'll get the solution, final solution, and so on. So Laplace transform is highly useful in this one control system for finding the solution or finding the stability of a control system and so on. Okay, so mathematical model of many control systems consists of higher order integral differential equation, means there may be integral terms or differential terms and so on. You know that simple this one, if you consider the RLC series circuit, okay, now RLC series circuit, just you consider the RLC series circuit, R is connected, then L is connected in series, and then C is connected, and the voltage source is applied, right? So if you write the voltage equation, V is equal to R into I plus L di by dt plus 1 upon C integration of I dt. So this equation consists of differential term L di by dt plus integral term 1 upon C integration of I dt and so on, right? And if you write this one in terms of charge, then it will be second order differential equation and so on. So like that way, this control system contains many higher order terms, and maybe differential terms may be there, or this one integral terms may be there, and sometimes it may be a combination of integral and differential, that is integral differential equation. So solving this equation in its original form is difficult, and that's why we have to use the Laplace transform. We can convert these many common functions into algebraic functions in the terms of S, right? So for example, you know that what is the Laplace transform of sine of omega t? So standard formulas are there for this one. Laplace transform sine of omega t is omega upon S square plus omega square, right? Whereas Laplace transform of e raised to minus sat is nothing but 1 upon S plus a, where this S term is a complex variable, okay? This S term is a complex variable, and okay, and it consists of a real part and the imaginary part. So sigma plus j omega, right? So you know that in this one Laplace transform in control system, what you have to do? So you have this problem in time domain, and okay, you have physical systems. From the physical system, you obtain the mathematical model of that time, that system, that mathematical model is in time domain, and then after that you have to take the Laplace transform of that mathematical model, which will convert this higher order integral differential equation into simple algebraic equation. After that you have to find out the solution in S domain, because your Laplace transform is in S domain, and once you find the solution in S domain, okay, you have to take the inverse Laplace transform, and then finally you will get the solution in time domain. So this is the role of basically Laplace transform in control system. See that in control system, your problem, physical systems, from physical system, what we do? We obtain the mathematical model of physical system. That mathematical model is in time domain, and this is higher order integral differential equation. So finding solution of that higher order integral differential is difficult. So for that, we take the Laplace transform of that mathematical model, and this will convert higher order the integral differential equation into simple algebraic equation. And once you get the algebraic equation, after that you can find out the solution in S domain, because this algebraic equation is in S domain, so you can find the solution in S domain. And once you get the solution in S domain, you have to take the inverse Laplace transform, and then it will be in time domain, and then you will get the solution in time domain. So in this way, basically Laplace transform will be useful in a control system. So you know that this time domain differential equation you are obtaining, okay, you have this linear differential equations of physical system. From that you obtain the Laplace transform equation, which is in S term or algebraic term, then apply the algebraic solution for that one, and then you'll get the solution in Laplace domain. And once you get the solution in Laplace domain, you have to take the inverse Laplace transform of that one, so that you'll get the solution in time domain. So instead of taking the directly solution in time domain of time domain differential equation, because it is difficult, so what we do, we take the Laplace transform, find the solution in Laplace domain, take the inverse of that one, and finally you get the solution in time domain. So you can design a complex system of higher order with the help of basically a Laplace transform and so on. So this is the role of Laplace transform in a control system. You know that the basic definition of Laplace transform is that, as I told you, that any transform appearance will be same. See that integration in case of Fourier transform, here it was omega, okay, and then integration was there 0 to infinity, f of t was also there. Only thing is that in Fourier transform, this term was e raised to minus j omega t. Here it will be e raised to minus st. So this function is called as the kernel function, and from one kernel function you can derive infinite number of basis function. So we have seen yesterday that e raised to minus j omega t can be written as a cos of omega t minus j sin of omega t, and if you change the value of omega t from 0 to infinity, you will get several cosine, this infinite number of cosine waves and infinite number of sine waves. Those infinite number of cosine waves and sine waves are called as the basis function, and they are basically correlation between them and the original signal is found, and then finally you get the Fourier transform representation and so on. Similarly, here the equation of Laplace transform is Laplace transform of signal, which is f of t. So Laplace transform f of t is given by f of s. So this will be mapped. So time domain signal will be mapped into S domain. So S domain is basically a complex domain which consists of real part as well as imaginary part, and this is given by integration 0 to infinity f of t e raised to minus st dt. So convert this time domain function and operation into a frequency domain, because this one S is nothing but a frequency domain also, right? So graphical solution of for the key linear differential equation characteristics, and then you'll get the discrete system. So here basically for analog system you can use this Laplace transform, and for discrete system you can use the Z transform. Okay, now see that what is complex plane. Complex plane, S plane is, okay, you have two axes. One is real axis, so you know that S is equal to sigma plus j omega. Okay, you know that S is equal to sigma plus j omega. So this sigma is nothing but real part and j omega is nothing but imaginary part. So this S domain is represented as this axis as a sigma axis and this axis as a imaginary axis, j omega axis, or for example, you have the complex number u is equal to x plus zy, then this axis is nothing but your x-axis, and then this axis is nothing but the y-axis. So jy term will be here, and x terms will be here. So this is the real part, and this is the imaginary part. Now, this is the point. Suppose, for example, this x is having value equal to 2, and zy is having value equal to plus 2. So 2 plus j2, this point will be here, whereas this will be 2 minus z2. So x part is 2 and y part is minus 2. So this is basically 2 plus minus z2 and so on. Now, from this term, this you can calculate the magnitude of this one. So magnitude of this is given by under root x square plus y square. So this is magnitude. So this will give you this part. Okay, so this magnitude is given by under root x square plus y square, and this angle phi is given by tan inverse y by x. So whatever the y component is there, and then whatever the x component is there, so this consists of magnitude and phase angle, right? So now see that this S domain representation can be we can consider as a polar representation, which consists of real part, this one, which consists of magnitude and phase angle. Okay, so we will study that one in our polar plot and so on, right? So S term or complex plane is nothing but sigma plus j omega. So sigma is representing real part and j omega is representing the imaginary part, right? Now, if you see the Laplace transform of common functions, like for example, impulse function. Now, impulse function, how do you define the impulse function? Impulse function is having, unit impulse function is having amplitude equal to 1 when t is equal to 0. Unit impulse function is having amplitude equal to 1 when t is equal to 0, and it will be having amplitude equal to 0 when t is greater than 0. So when t is greater than 0, amplitude of this unit impulse function will be 0, but amplitude of this unit impulse function will be 1 only when t is equal to 0. Now, if you put this value in a standard formula of this Laplace transform f of s is equal to 1 integration from this one 0 to infinity f of t and f of t e raised to minus st. So you will find that Laplace transform of this unit impulse function is equal to 1, right? Similarly, all those things you have studied this one in your second year itself. So that's why I'm taking just brushing up all those formulas. Then step function. See that step function is represented as see that here impulse function, step function, ramp function, exponential function, or sine function, all those are the standard test signal. Those signals are used for testing purpose of a control system. When you design a control system, you have to test that control system for the stability and so on. So for testing those control system, you need to have the various signals. So this signal, impulse signal, we will study that. See that impulse signal is nothing but sudden jerk. See that it is giving a jerk at t equal to 0, and then nothing is there, right? So this one, so this impulse signal represents the sudden jerk. Like for example, sudden shock is given to some system, and after giving the shock to that system, that system should remain stable. So for testing the shock to that system, this impulse function is used in electrical system, and which is defined as f of t is equal to 1 when t is equal to 0, and it is 0 when t is equal to t is greater than 0. So mathematically it is like this, and graphically it is represented like this, and the Laplace transform of that one is 1. Now, another function which is used for testing purpose of control system, that is nothing but the sudden change. Now see that it was having amplitude below this t less than 0. At that time its amplitude was 0, but after t is greater than 0, its amplitude is 1. So this will be representing the sudden change in the system or sudden change in the input. So step function represents the sudden change. And what is, okay, if you put this one in your standard formula, then Laplace transform of this step function is 1 by s, right? So impulse function represents sudden jerk, whereas step function represents sudden change. Okay, and then ramp function, like for example, this is nothing but constant velocity. Okay, so it is increasing. Okay, so its velocity is constant. So that kind of input is given for testing the control system, and then mathematically it is represented as f of t is equal to t. So that is given by this graphical form. It is given by like this graph, and if you put this one f of t equal to t in the formula, f of s is equal to integration 0 to infinity f of t into e raised to minus st dt. So if you put that ft as a t, you will find that Laplace transform that one will be equal to 1 by s square, right? Similarly, the exponential function is also used for testing purpose. Exponential function is represented as e raised to at, and the Laplace transform of that exponential function is 1 upon s minus a, right? Then for testing the system in a frequency domain, sine wave is used, and sine wave is given by f of t is equal to amplitude. Maybe now here unit amplitude is there, so it is 1. But if you consider other amplitude as a sine of omega t plus phi may be there as a phase angle, so this is represented like this way. And then this angle, this one, Laplace transform of this sine of omega t is equal to 1 by omega square s plus s square. Okay. So these are the standard test signals which are used in a control system for testing the control system. When you design a control system, you have to test that control system for stability, and for testing those control system you need various kinds of signals. So impulse is one of the signal which is just like as giving a sudden jerk to the system. So after giving a sudden jerk to the system, your system should withstand and it should not be unstable. So Laplace transform of this impulse function is 1. Similarly, if there is a sudden change in input, your system should not become unstable. So this sudden change is given by step function, and mathematical model of that one is f of t equal to 1, and Laplace transform of that one is 1 by s. Whereas constant velocity f of t is equal to t, so this ramp function is nothing but the constant velocity whose Laplace transform is 1 by s square. Similarly, exponential function f of t is equal to e raised to at, and then its Laplace transform is 1 upon s minus a. And then sine wave, this particularly is used for testing in a frequency domain by changing the frequency from 0 to infinity, and we have to test when that system will be stable, and then how much it is stable, and so on. So relative stability we can find out in a frequency domain, and its Laplace transform is given by 1 upon omega square plus s square, right? Now, what are the properties of Laplace transform? So addition of two functions. So when you take the Laplace transform of addition and scaling, scaling means multiplication, right? So this a is multiplied by f1t. So f1 of t is one function which is scaled by a parameter, and this function is added with another function f2t which is scaled by parameter b. So what is the Laplace transform of this one? Whether it is a plus or minus, Laplace transform is just like as a f1 of s plus or minus b f2 of s. So if you take the individual Laplace transform of this one, it will be like this. And if you take the individual Laplace transform of this one, it will be like this. And if you combinedly take the Laplace transform, it will be just like this. So we can say that Laplace transform, obeys the linearity property. We have seen that linearity property which obeys the superposition principle. Then what is the Laplace transform differentiation? L upon Laplace transform of d by dt of f of t. So this is given by s into f of s minus f of 0, plus or minus, so 0 condition. So if you basically consider a 0 initial condition, then this term will be vanishing, and then you'll get only s term, s into f of s. Similarly, Laplace transform of integration is given by f of s, and f of s by s plus 1 upon s integration of f of t d of t when t equal to 0. So this is considered as a zero initial condition. If you consider the ideal thing, then zero initial conditions are considered to be 0 or neglected. Then this part will be neglected, and only the Laplace transform of this integration will be 1 by s, whereas Laplace transform of integration will be s into f of s. Then convolution. See, convolution of two signals that we are going to study in your signals and system part. Okay, so this is one function which is given by f1 t minus tau, and another function f2 tau d of t. So convolution in a time domain of two sequences is equal to multiplication of two Laplace transform, or multiplication in a frequency domain. So f1 of s is a Laplace transform of function f1, and f2 of s is a Laplace transform of f2 function. So here you are doing the convolution which is equivalent to multiplication of two functions f1 of s and f2 of s. Means if we are taking the Laplace transform of f1 function, and that is given by f1 of s, similarly we can take the Laplace transform of this f2 function which is equal to f2 of s. So multiplication of two functions in a complex domain is equal to the convolution of two functions in a time domain. So that is this one. Then there are two theorems in a Laplace transform, that is initial value theorem. So f of 0 plus, which is given by limit s tends to infinity s into f of s. So this is zero value theorem, initial value theorem. And then final value theorem, where your time t tends to infinity. When time t tends to infinity, s will be tending to 0, and then limit s tends to 0, and then s into f of s. Now this is this initial value theorem and final value theorem are useful for finding the stability in a control system. So that we will study in our 4th chapter and so on. So I hope that see that what is the Laplace transform derivative? So derivative Laplace transform is nothing but your s term only, because if you are considering this x of initial condition equal to 0, so s into x of s. So Laplace transform derivative is s, and Laplace transform of integration is 1 by s. Similarly, Laplace transform d2 by dt square is s square. Laplace transform x of t is x of s. But here, these are the zero initial conditions. So ideal case, these are considered to be 0. So second order, if second order system is there, Laplace transform of that one is s square. D square by dt square is represented as a s square, and x of t is represented as x of s. Similarly, the Laplace transform d3 x of t by dt cube will be s cube. Then if it is fifth power, then it will be s raised to 5. So this is the Laplace transform derivative term. Similarly, Laplace transform derivative in general is given by what? S to n x of s. Means if this is the 10th order, like n is 10, then s raised to 10 will be there, and this x of t will be x of s, and these are the initial conditions, right? So initial conditions generally are considered to be 0 in ideal case, right? Similarly, the Laplace transform of integral. So what is the Laplace transform of integration? X of t, which is given by 1 by s. So simple way, just you remember that, okay, Laplace transform of integration is 1 by s, double integration will be 1 by s square, triple integration will be 1 by s cube, and so on. Whereas Laplace transform of d by dt derivative term, single derivative term will be s, double derivative term will be s square, triple s cube, and so on. Nth derivative will be s raised to n. So that you have to remember in the which will be really useful for finding the solution in a control system. So if you just summarize the Laplace transform of standard functions which we are going to use in control system, that is Laplace transform of this one, impulse function is 1. Laplace transform second function, standard function which we have studied is step function 1 by s. Then Laplace transform of ramp function 1 by s square. Then Laplace transform of parabolic function 1 by s cube. Laplace transform of exponential function, if it is e raised to at, it will be s 1 upon s minus a, and Laplace transform of sinusoidal function would be a upon s square plus omega square, and so on. Similarly, Laplace transform of derivative function is s double derivative s square, and then nth derivative s raised to n. Laplace transform of integral will be simple. Single integral, it will be 1 by s, double integral 1 by s square, nth time integral will be 1 by s raised to n. So, okay, I hope that you have now brushed up your Laplace transform knowledge already, you people. As I told you that you have studied all those things in your mathematics subject. So just I have taken the brush up of these formulas which are used frequently in a control system, and for finding the solution or finding the stability of control system or representing the mathematical model in algebraic equation and so on. So that's why we have taken this Laplace transform in a short way and so on. Right now, the next point in this one and this chapter is a transfer function. Now, what is by transfer function? Okay, so transfer function. Suppose, for example, you have the plant, right? And now output of this plant is y of t. Input of this plant is u of t, or if it is x of t, and this is y of t. So what will be the Laplace transform of this one? It will be y of s. And what is the Laplace transform of this one? It will be u of s. So transfer function basically gives the relation between output and input. Okay. Transfer function of this system gives the relation between output and input. So how do you define the transfer function of this system? The transfer function is the ratio of Laplace transform of output variable. Now, what is output variable? Y of t. What is the Laplace transform of output variable? Y of s. And what is the Laplace transform of input variable? So u of t is input variable. Laplace transform of input variable is u of s. So how do you define the transfer function? Transfer function is defined as it is the ratio of Laplace transform of output variable to the Laplace transform of input variable by assuming all initial conditions as a zero, right? So this is the definition of Laplace in this one, transfer function. And transfer function gives the relation between input and output. Once you know the transfer function of the system, okay, for a given input, you can predict what will be the output. See that. What is the relation? Suppose, for example, t of s is the transfer function, and transfer function is given by y of s divided by u of s. So if you know the transfer function and if you know the input, then you can predict the output. Or if you don't know the transfer function of the system, but you have given the standard input, and if you measure the output, whatever the output you get, and then from that you'll get the Laplace transform of y of s. So you can find out the Laplace transform of y output, and you can also find out the Laplace transform of input. So from that you can estimate what is the transfer function of that system. So transfer function gives the characteristic of that system, and it gives the relation between input and output. So once you know the transfer function for a given input, you can predict what will be the output. Or if you don't know what is the input, and if you measure the output, and if you know the this one transfer function, you can also estimate what will be the input. So basically transfer function is the relation between input and output, and it is defined as it is the ratio of Laplace transform of output variable to the Laplace transform of input variable by assuming all initial conditions as zero. Now, what is by initial condition? You must have heard in network theory when you have studied RC circuit or RLC circuit and so on. So what is the initial charge in the capacitor? So if there is an initial charge in the capacitor, and if you start charging that capacitor, so capacitor will start charging from that initial charge onward. But if initial charge on that capacitor is zero, then it will start from zero now, right? So ideal capacitor will be having initial charge equal to zero. Similarly, initial current in the inductor, okay, if you know that one, so definitely current flowing through that inductor you can estimate, or in ideal inductor that is considered to be a zero, right? So you should know, because you are using this terms or components like the this one resistance you are using, using capacitor or inductor. So inductor and capacitor are energy storing devices. So how much energy is stored initially, so that will give you the initial values. So this ideally we are considering that ideally there is no energy stored in that component, so initial conditions are considered as a zero, right? So that is the meaning of that initial condition, right? So once again, I'll define transfer function as the ratio of Laplace transform of the output to the Laplace transform of input by assuming all initial conditions to be 0, right? Now, so this is the transfer function g of s, which is, see, g of s is this one, u of s is the Laplace transform of input, and y of s is the Laplace transform of output. So this g of s is y of s divided by u of s. So g of s is y of s by u of s. Or we can say that u of s into g of s is nothing but y of s. So u of s into g of s is nothing but the y of s, right? So you can find the output if you know the transfer function, and if you know the input, then you can easily calculate the transfer this one output, and so on. So transfer function is an expression that relates the output to the input in the S domain, right? So R of t is nothing but the input in time domain, and then this is basically a system, or your transfer function or differential equations are there in control system, and then y of t is the output. So if you take the Laplace transform of this R of t, it will be R of s. Then this is nothing but the transfer function, and y of t is nothing but the y of s. So transfer function is y of s by R of s. It is the ratio of Laplace transform of output variable to the input variable by assuming 0 initial conditions. Okay. Now, for how do you calculate the transfer function? So I think we'll study in our next lecture how to calculate the transfer function, what are the different properties of transfer function, what are the advantages of transfer function, and what are the disadvantages of transfer function. And then from this transfer function, how to obtain the poles, how to obtain the zeros, what is the significance of pole, what is the significance of zero. So that we will study in our next lecture. So today we'll stop here. Thank you very much. So